Welcome back, Rare Coin Insider. The 1980 United States quarter dollar may look like an ordinary coin that many people have carried in their pockets without a second thought, but beneath its familiar appearance lies a fascinating story that stretches across American history, coin collecting culture, and the surprising world of valuable error coins. At first glance, most 1980 quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents in circulation, and many examples in average circulated condition can be found in coin jars, old drawers, and collections across the country. However, collectors know that some examples are worth much more, and under the right circumstances certain rare varieties and high-grade specimens have sold for impressive amounts of money. To understand the significance of the 1980 quarter, it is important to begin with its place in American coinage history. The quarter dollar has been one of the most recognizable denominations in the United States for generations. By 1980, the coin featured the famous portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This design had originally been introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth. What was initially intended as a temporary commemorative design became so popular that it remained the standard quarter design for decades. The obverse, or front side, of the 1980 quarter displays George Washington facing left. Above his portrait appears the word Liberty, while the motto, "In God We Trust," is positioned to the left. The year 1980 is shown below the portrait. The design was based on the work of sculptor John Flanagan, whose interpretation of Washington became one of the most enduring images in American numismatic history. The reverse, or back side, features a powerful eagle with wings spread. The eagle stands upon a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and readiness, while olive branches beneath represent peace. Around the upper edge appears United States of America, and below is the denomination, quarter dollar. The motto, E pluribus unum, is placed above the eagle. This classic reverse design remained in use until the state quarters program transformed the series beginning in 1999. One of the most important details collectors examine on a 1980 quarter is the mint mark. During 1980, quarters were struck at multiple United States mint facilities. Coins produced in Philadelphia carried no mint mark at all. Quarters struck in Denver feature the D mint mark. Those produced in San Francisco generally carried an S mint mark and were often made specifically for collector-proof sets. The mint mark can be found on the obverse side of the coin near Washington's ponytail. This tiny letter plays a major role in determining scarcity and collector demand. While millions of quarters were produced at each facility, the exact mintage figures vary significantly and influence long-term collecting trends. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters in 1980. These coins entered circulation throughout the United States and became part of everyday commerce. Because of their large numbers, most circulated examples remain common today. Nevertheless, finding exceptionally preserved Philadelphia quarters with strong details, brilliant surfaces, and minimal contact marks can still be challenging. High-grade examples certified by professional grading services often command substantial premiums. The Denver Mint also produced a massive quantity of quarters in 1980. Many collectors actively search for sharply struck Denver examples because certain pieces display stronger details than their Philadelphia counterparts. Although common in lower grades, top-quality Denver quarters can become surprisingly scarce when graded at the highest mint state levels. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Mint produced proof quarters intended primarily for collectors. These proof coins were struck using specially prepared dies and polished planchets. As a result, they exhibit mirror-like fields and frosted design elements. Proof quarters from 1980 are generally more attractive than circulation strikes and are popular among collectors assembling complete proof sets. When discussing specifications, the weight of the 1980 quarter is an important factor. The standard weight is 5.67 grams. This weight has remained consistent for clad Washington quarters since the mid-1960s. The coin has a diameter of approximately 24.3 millimeters and a thickness of around 1.75 millimeters. Its edge is reeded, meaning it contains a series of small grooves running around the circumference. The composition of the 1980 quarter reflects a major change in American coinage that occurred years earlier. Prior to 1965, quarters were struck from 90% silver. Rising silver prices eventually made this composition too expensive for circulation coinage. As a result, the United States Mint adopted a clad composition consisting of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The 1980 quarter contains no silver in its standard circulation version. Instead, it is composed of approximately 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel by total weight. This composition gives the coin its characteristic appearance. The outer copper-nickel layers create a silvery color, while the copper core can often be seen as a reddish stripe along the edge. Many beginning collectors mistakenly believe all older quarters contain silver, but understanding the 1965 composition change is essential when evaluating a 1980 quarter. Although millions of these coins were produced, condition plays a major role in determining value. A heavily circulated 1980 quarter showing wear on Washington's hair, cheek, and the eagle's feathers may be worth only face value. However, a coin preserved in mint state condition with strong luster and few marks can be worth significantly more. Professional grading services such as the Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company assign numerical grades that help establish market value. Collectors often use the Sheldon grading scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-60 is considered uncirculated but may have noticeable imperfections. As grades rise into the MS-65, MS-66, MS-67, and beyond, values can increase dramatically because truly pristine examples become much harder to find. An ordinary circulated 1980 quarter may be worth approximately 25 cents. An uncirculated example might bring a few dollars depending on quality. High-grade certified specimens, especially those approaching the finest known levels, have sold for far more than their face value. Some exceptional examples have realized hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction due to their rarity in top condition. The idea that a coin with a current market value of around $2 in uncirculated condition could potentially become worth much more is one reason coin collecting remains so exciting. Every coin tells a story, and every grade point can make a significant difference. Collectors constantly search through rolls, bank boxes, estate collections, and inherited coin jars, hoping to discover an overlooked treasure. Adding further excitement are the error coins. Minting errors occur when something unusual happens during production. These mistakes can transform an otherwise common quarter into a highly sought-after collectible. Certain 1980 quarters display off-center strikes, die cracks, doubled features, clipped planchets, or other unusual characteristics that attract collector attention and increase value dramatically. Some error quarters have sold for many times their normal value because genuine mint errors are often scarce and impossible to duplicate. The more dramatic and visually obvious the error, the greater the demand tends to be among collectors. Understanding these errors requires knowledge of the minting process itself, a fascinating journey that reveals how coins are manufactured and how mistakes can occur despite strict quality controls. As collectors examine 1980 quarters under magnification, they often search for tiny clues that distinguish ordinary coins from potentially valuable discoveries. A subtle doubling in lettering, an unusual strike pattern, or an unexpected flaw can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth a substantial premium. This treasure hunting aspect has kept generations of collectors engaged and continues to drive interest in the Washington Quarter series today. As collectors continue their search through rolls and collections of 1980 quarters, one of the most exciting areas of study involves mint errors and varieties. While the majority of quarters left the mint exactly as intended, a small number were produced with unusual characteristics that make them stand out from ordinary examples. These mistakes occurred during various stages of the minting process, and today represent some of the most desirable discoveries for coin hunters. One of the most recognizable errors is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned between the dies at the moment of striking. Part of the design may be missing, while a blank crescent-shaped area remains visible. The value of an off-center 1980 quarter depends largely on how dramatic the misalignment is, and whether the date remains visible. Collectors generally prefer examples showing significant displacement while still retaining the year, making identification possible. Another fascinating error is the clipped planchet. Before a coin is struck, circular blanks are punched from long metal strips. Occasionally, a blank is cut incorrectly, leaving a curved section missing from the finished coin. These clipped quarters are instantly recognizable and are popular among error collectors because the mistake occurred before the coin was even struck. Die cracks are another category of collectible errors. As mint dies experience repeated stress from striking millions of coins, small fractures can develop. When this happens, raised lines appear on the coins produced by the damaged die. In some cases, the cracks become extensive enough to create dramatic visual effects that collectors eagerly seek. Double die varieties also generate significant interest. These occur when the die itself receives a misaligned impression during manufacture. The result can be noticeable doubling in letters, numbers, or design elements. Genuine double dies differ from ordinary machine doubling and often require careful examination under magnification. When authenticated, strong double die examples can command substantial premiums. Some collectors have discovered quarters struck on incorrect planchets. These rare mistakes occur when a blank intended for another denomination accidentally enters the quarter production process. Such coins may have unusual weights, colors, or dimensions. Because these errors are extremely scarce, they often become highlights of advanced collections. The market for error coins has grown steadily over the years. Modern collectors appreciate the uniqueness of these pieces because no two errors are exactly alike. Auction records demonstrate that dramatic and visually appealing errors frequently attract intense bidding competition. Beyond errors, another major factor affecting value is strike quality. Not all 1980 quarters were struck equally. Some display sharp details in Washington's hair, strong lettering, and crisp reverse features, while others appear softer due to die wear or lower striking pressure. Advanced collectors often pay premiums for exceptionally struck examples because they better represent the intended design. Luster is equally important. Freshly struck quarters exhibit a distinctive cartwheel effect as light moves across the surface. This brilliant mint luster can diminish through circulation, improper storage, or environmental exposure. Coins retaining full original luster are generally more desirable and command higher prices. Proof quarters from San Francisco deserve special attention. Unlike circulation strikes, proof coins were produced with extraordinary care. Polished dies and specially prepared planchets created mirror-like fields and sharp details. Many proof examples remain affordable, making them attractive additions to collections. However, flawless proofs receiving the highest grades can achieve significantly higher values than ordinary examples. Auction records reveal how conditioned rarity can transform an otherwise common coin into a valuable collectible. Most 1980 quarters are plentiful, but the finest certified examples become increasingly scarce at the highest grades. When a coin reaches an elite level of preservation, collectors compete aggressively because so few comparable pieces exist. A quarter worth only face value in circulation may be worth several dollars in uncirculated condition. At higher certified grades, values can climb into the hundreds of dollars. Exceptional registry quality specimens, especially those among the finest known, have sold for even greater amounts. This illustrates an important lesson in numismatics. Rarity is not determined solely by mintage figures. Condition rarity can be just as important. The 1980 quarter also represents an interesting period in American history. The nation was entering a new decade marked by economic challenges, technological change, and evolving cultural trends. These coins circulated through grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and businesses across the country. Every surviving quarter serves as a small artifact from that era, connecting modern collectors to everyday life in 1980 America. Many collectors enjoy assembling complete Washington quarter sets. Such collections often include examples from every year and mint. The 1980 issues occupy an important place in these sets because they represent the continuation of the classic Washington design before the major changes introduced by the state quarters program decades later. Roll searching remains one of the most popular methods of finding collectible quarters. Enthusiasts obtain rolls from banks and carefully inspect each coin for high grades, unusual varieties, or mint errors. While valuable discoveries are uncommon, the possibility of finding something special keeps the hobby exciting. Stories occasionally emerge of collectors locating remarkable coins in ordinary circulation, reinforcing the idea that treasures can still be hiding in plain sight. Storage and preservation are critical for maintaining value. Even a beautiful uncirculated quarter can lose appeal if handled improperly. Collectors often use archival quality holders, albums, or certified slabs to protect their coins from scratches, fingerprints, and environmental damage. Proper preservation ensures that future generations can appreciate these pieces in their original condition. The current market for 1980 quarters remains active. Common circulated examples generally trade at face value. Nice uncirculated pieces often sell for a few dollars, sometimes around $2 or more depending on quality. Proof coins usually command modest premiums, while certified high-grade examples can bring significantly higher prices. Error coins and rare varieties occupy a separate category entirely, with values ranging from tens to hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on rarity and demand. One of the most important lessons for new collectors is to examine every coin carefully. A quarter that appears ordinary at first glance may possess an unusual characteristic that dramatically increases its value. Knowledge, patience, and attention to detail are often more important than luck. And that is what makes the 1980 United States quarter dollar such a fascinating coin. It is more than just 25 cents. It is a piece of American history, a product of the nation's minting technology, a collectible with countless variations, and a reminder that extraordinary discoveries can emerge from the most ordinary places. Millions were produced, yet only a tiny percentage survive in exceptional condition. Some remain common pocket change, while others have become prized collectibles sought by enthusiasts around the world. Whether you are a beginner examining your first coin jar or an experienced numismatist building a world-class collection, the 1980 quarter proves that every coin has a story waiting to be discovered. The next time you find a quarter in your pocket, take a closer look. You may be holding a small piece of history, a hidden rarity, or perhaps even a coin worth far more than its face value. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching, learning, and preserving these remarkable pieces of America's numismatic heritage for generations to come.